What's up guys, my name is TiPit, otherwise known as Sergeant Buddy, and let's review the 9.6 update. Now, realize that none of these changes are permanent yet, but these changes will definitely affect the gameplay. Now, if you're like a lot of people, you really don't care about going through the entire listing and seeing all about the details, but I'm here to help you with that, and show you the highlights, at least the things that will affect you the most, probably. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the artillery prep time. Now, this is a small feature, they barely showed it, it wasn't one of the main features they showed, but the artillery prep time on a few maps like Malinovka, Kharkov, and Stalingrad will probably be something of the sort where instead of having a 30-second timer, artillery players will only have a 15-second timer. Therefore, they'll be able to start moving 15 seconds earlier, which will permit them to get out of harm's way, especially on those maps where it's very easy for one tank to rush and light the artillery while they just spawned and get the artillery killed in the first 20 seconds of the game. So that's a definite advantage to the artillery players. Another thing is that they're going to add some HD quality vehicle maps. I don't really care about those, but if you really like cranking your game all the way up to the top, you're definitely going to like seeing your tanks in full resolution. Another thing I find is extremely important is the change to the distribution of the hits in the aiming circle. Now, what happened a few patches ago is, especially for arty players, there was an equal amount of chance that you hit anywhere in the center, anywhere in the circle. So your chances of hitting in the center of the circle were equal to you hitting the extreme sides. But they increased the chances of the shots hitting the center of the reticle, yet increased the size of the reticle for artillery players. Now, if they change that back and they make it an equal chance of hitting anywhere in the circle, artillery players will still have the larger reticle, and that will definitely be a pain for artillery players. So watch out if you're an artillery player. That will decrease your gaming capability. Okay, so let's look at some of the tanks specifically, or actually generally. TDs will have their view range cut. Tier 10 TDs will typically have about 10 meters view range cut, but there's some of the TDs I'll lose all the way up to 60 meters. So I suggest that you guys look specifically, maybe Control F and try to find that in the patch notes, because it will affect most TDs. Another thing is specifically the Bulldog. The Bulldog will be nerfed, and if you hate the Bulldog just as much as I do, because I believe it's an OP tank, you're definitely going to enjoy this patch, because it's going to increase the reload times a lot for the Bulldog, for all its guns. The T-71 will be buffed as the T-21. T-21 is a little bit underpowered, so I'm happy to see that it will become buffed, because I did find that it was a little bit hard to play the tank, and it could become a little bit better and live up to its Tier 6 name. So that's definitely an advantage, in my opinion. Now for the Russians, the T-54 Light is going to be buffed. Now this is nice because the T-54 Light is not a very common tank, and I imagine it's probably because it's a little bit underpowered. So having it overpowered a little bit more will permit people to test out the tank and actually be able to do an effect in the tank. If you want to try this tank out and check it out, go on the test server. Or if you're watching this a little later, try other test servers that are coming up in the future. Another advantage for the USSR is the MT-25. Now that tank is a little bit underpowered in my opinion. I love the tank, I've played multiple times in it, but it can't take on its own. A Tier 6 that can't take on another Tier 6 and has trouble taking on another Tier 5, especially if it's a Chaffee. So I like the effect that its reload times and almost everything to do with the gun are actually going to get better. Now the Germans have the Offpanzer Panther. Now that's going to be buffed, so if you have that thing, go for it. It's going to get better. And the Chinese 5916 is going to get buffed also. Now that thing I find is a tad bit OP because it's the ultimate scout killer, but apparently it's not good at anything else. So if you have that thing or you want to go for it, enjoy. It's going to get better. The WZ-132 and 131 are also going to be buffed. Now the gameplay is going to stay typically about the same, but the nice effect I find is the chat contact list. Now that is going to definitely get a buff, so friendships are going to now be mutual. It's going to be like Facebook, send a friend request, get one back. And that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a like and a comment and subscribe. Have a good one, guys.